You are about to experience Skip versus Ernestine, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Look, if this is your first time trying out this show, I warn you, nothing out there quite like it. We're about to be extremely honest with each other. Maybe this is our therapy without a therapist.
Maybe, not really, but...
In some ways, we love each other more than any couple I've ever known, but we do have our issues, our conflict, our arguments. Who doesn't? Surely you can relate.
I think everybody does.
But we don't hesitate to talk very publicly about these issues, and we are both extremely emotional with, dare I say, big personalities.
I think people can relate to what we say, so...
She's Ernestine from New York. We're about to talk about New York. I'm Skip from Oklahoma City. We're not going to talk about Oklahoma City, although the Thunder are going to the NBA Finals and they are going to beat the Celtics in 7 games.
You got that going for you.
This is Hazel from Burbank, who last week flat out flipped out because she thought we'd left her for good.
She did.
Last week I had a speaking engagement in New York on Wednesday, so Ernestine went with me back to her old stomping grounds, New York City, baby.
Yep.
And we stayed in her all-time favorite hotel, the Carlyle.
Best hotel in the world.
76th and Madison.
Best.
But let me tell you, those 3 days in New York City did test our marriage, our relationship. Wouldn't you agree?
As usual, yeah.
Okay.
We're always getting tested.
Are we? So it starts with the packing on Monday night.
Yeah,
it's always the packing issue because this was the time where I said, okay, effectively, it's a 2.5, 3 day trip.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking at your suitcase and you're using your giant go to Europe suitcase.
So what is it? I don't understand. It's not on your back. It's not like you're carrying my suitcase.
It's just a hassle.
What does it matter to you?
Just a battle. I know we're going to have to battle with your suitcase.
You're not taking it. You're not doing anything with my suitcase. We get to the airport. They take my suitcase. They put it on the conveyor.
That's true.
What are you doing? What do you care if I'm taking a purse or I'm taking a satchel?
All right. I almost took a small, like, gym bag.
Well,
I could get away with that.
You don't wear the clothes I wear.
But I took a bigger sort of black duffel bag that was like half full.
Yeah.
And you're saying, well, you could put some stuff in my suitcase.
I said,
and I'm like, I don't even need mine. You know, it's ridiculous.
There's a difference. Okay, maybe it's a girl thing, but I don't think it's a girl thing. It's a person thing. I need to pack. Hazel understands this because she's looking at me.
Yeah.
She does the same thing. I started out with a smaller bag, and I started putting my stuff in it, and then I realized this is way too small. I have to use the big one. So I swapped it out for the big one. I have to put gym clothes, sleeping clothes, jeans, tops, alternate tops to different...
2.5 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was seeing
How
friends.
much of that went unused on the trip? Thank you, Hazel.
A lot of it, but that's okay as long as I know it's there. That's the whole point of it. And, you know, I had to put toiletries and makeup and food that I like, it's just part of traveling. But if I don't have it, then I don't feel good about it. So what's the big deal? It's not as though you have to carry it. Oh my God, you're walking to New York with my big suitcase. You give it to the guy, he puts it on the plane.
Yeah,
it's like it irks you
because it just wears on me mentally because I have to commit mentally to we're going to have to battle with this gigantic suitcase that's almost as big as the bedroom.
But I don't understand. You're not battling. What do you have to do with the suitcase? It's my suitcase. You don't have to do anything with
jurisdiction.
it. What do you mean, your jurisdiction?
I'm going to have to watch over it. In the end, the responsibility for it is going to fall back on me.
You don't own the suitcase.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know why it irks you. It's like my mother would say, I'm peeling the onions and you're crying. It's the same thing.
I like that.
I'm carrying the bag and you're complaining about it. What is it to you?
Your mother got me again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true. I don't care if you bring a dop kit or you bring a giant, a satchel. I don't care. A steam trunk.
So this is another idiosyncrasy of mine.
Here we go. List them.
That's a long list.
Yeah.
I give you that.
Uh-huh.
You are a saint for putting up with them.
Right.
But if I'm going to fly and I'm going to get to New York late in the day because we're going to have like an hour and a half in from the airport to the city,
Yeah.
which we did.
Right, as usual. It's the way it is.
I'm going to do my cardio, my 1 hour cardio. I'm going to do it in the morning. Well, our flight left at 7.
Wait, you're talking about going.
Going.
Okay.
Yeah. We did it both ways.
Yeah.
But we had
Yeah.
2 7 a.m.s
Yeah,
going and coming.
did.
So here in LA, we have a 7 a.m. flight, and we need to be in the car leaving here
At 5. Okay.
And that's could push it, but if the
It's
traffic's
okay.
fine,
Half hour
yeah,
is
it was
fine.
And that's what it was.
Yeah.
But that required a 3 a.m. wake up,
Right.
which didn't bother me because for 8 years I got up at 2 a.m.
Well,
so I was
and
actually
it didn't bother
sleeping
me
in.
because when you got up at 2 o'clock, you weren't the only one up in the house.
That's true.
I too were up in the house, and so was Hazel. So we all lived that insane life for 8 years.
All right. So
No
we
sleep.
did do. She was nice. She got on the bike, the exercise
I did
bike,
because
and I
you
got
wanted
on
to
the
do the treadmill, so I did the bike.
Okay.
Okay.
She was good about that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I always do that. If you want to do the bike, I get off of the treadmill.
do.
You know, I
Whichever
whatever.
way it is.
Yeah.
It worked.
I give it up.
And we did make it.
We had
Toting
plenty
your
of time.
giant, bigger than the house suitcase, but
again,
we got. I was afraid it
What
wouldn't
were
even
you,
fit
like
in the
turtle?
car.
A turtle with
I
it on your
stressed
back?
over would it go in the car.
Oh please! You act. It's a stupid Samsonite
It's
big
stupid, all right.
luggage because
Yeah.
they throw the luggage around. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy expensive luggage. Samsonites are fine. It's nylon. It's not as heavy. It has wheels that spin on the bottom. It's fine.
Okay, so I must disqualify myself because I cannot express to you how for about 30 years, it's a long time,
Yeah.
I traveled, it felt like as much as anybody in the world traveled because I was constantly gone.
Yeah.
These are my years in Dallas, Chicago, San Francisco. I was just on the road. The reason I took the job at ESPN to be on the show called Cold Pizza in 2004 was I just couldn't take the travel
I know.
anymore.
I
And I
get
knew I
it.
would have to do a little bit of travel, which I did for Cold Pizza
I
because
remember.
we started going to college football games
Yeah.
on Thursday for Friday and piggyback the game day set and do shows on the road. So I went to
remember
every,
them well.
Tuscaloosa and
I know. College
Blacksburg
Station,
and
wherever.
South Bend, and so that wore me out. But the travel as a newspaper columnist, I went to every big event, every World Series, Super Bowl,
Right.
Final Four, Masters, U.S. Open golf, British Open golf, Wimbledon,
I know.
every playoff game. It was just on all the football playoff games. Super, it's just, I was just gone. And after a while, it just wears on your psyche until you finally just hit the wall. And I just don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
I don't like to travel.
Right.
Because you can't really control much of anything.
No, how can you
It's
control the
hard.
air and the...
It's going to go wrong. Things are going to bite you when you least expect it. And we actually had a pretty smooth flight to
It
New
was
York.
good.
And then we get in the car to go to the Carlyle, and all of a sudden we're leaving, and there's construction on whatever freeway that is going outbound
It's the Major Deacon.
that goes right by LaGuardia.
yeah.
So we were at JFK, obviously, on the cross-country
Major
flight
Deacon. They've been doing construction for
Yeah.
like 5 years.
for 5 years, and it's 3:30 in the afternoon, and we're going nowhere. We're in
Right.
wall-to-wall gridlock.
But
Right?
it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's how you go to New
And
York.
I'm trying to read my phone, and I'm getting car sick. And I'm
You
like, what
always
are we
have
doing?
issues with that. You just
Okay.
don't give it up.
Okay, it's just hard because I'm on a quote unquote business trip, so my head is still in my speaking engagement, which was a big deal
I know,
on
but
Wednesday
you don't have to do
afternoon.
anything except sit in the car.
Yeah, I got it.
You're not driving the car. You don't have the suitcase on your back. You just sit in the car.
Yeah,
That's it.
okay. So we did get in, and then I got to try to keep up with the Laker game at Oklahoma City, and I can't get it on television because I don't have it. It's not on national TV,
Right.
and
Here we start with
it
all the problems.
took
Yes.
a lot out of me. But now we get to the Carlyle. Okay, so I didn't think twice about it. And the company for which I did my appearance paid for the room, but it's an expensive hotel, and they put us in.
Well, it was a
pretty tiny
superior
room.
room. It's called a superior room,
Is it?
but we're in
God,
New
I'd
York
like
City.
to see the average one because this was
Welcome to New
like
York.
a walk-in closet.
That's true. But in New York City, for a less amount of money, you're not going to get a suite. That is what you get.
Okay, so this is just me.
Yes.
I like modern. You like ancient.
Right, I love old. Yeah.
And so the Carlyle is old. It's kind of creepy old. It's kind of like grandmother old.
No, it's not. It's just one of the last of the best hotels in New York because it's got a feeling of it's a throwback in time. You walk in and you just feel like it's the best hotel in the world. My opinion. You feel that's where Woody Allen played every Monday night.
It does
and every star. I just sent you the
has
video.
Historical aura to it.
It does. Every
that.
celebrity. George Clooney lives there, has a suite. A lot of people that are major people live there because they like that. It's not a big hotel where you walk in and it's a circus with 100 kids running around and you don't see anything. It's a very civilized. They know your name. It's a very personalized hotel. And so that's what I like about it.
Okay, but right away, we went to visit the workout room just to see where it was on the third floor. And then we couldn't get the elevator to work to go up to the 12th floor to our room. And since you have been there the last time, they have changed the system. They used to have an elevator operator.
Well, they have elevator. They still do if you request.
They have actual operators.
Yes, that's one of the last hotels.
Yeah.
That and the Pierre Hotel in New York are the last two hotels in New York that have actual elevator operators that stand in there and they press the floor for you. That's the beauty of this hotel.
We couldn't figure out. You have to
you have to hit
your key.
Right, I didn't know. So
and to go up.
To go
you
to
can
your
go
room.
Down. Yeah,
right.
But
you have to hold the key for the sensor and then hit the floor and then you go up. And I do not like elevators. I'm very claustrophobic. And that's why I love this hotel because there's somebody always in the elevator with me. That's why I love that hotel. Besides, I love the hotel for other reasons. But I was paranoid because you keep hitting it and then you let the doors close and we're going nowhere. So that was a fiasco.
This is travel. It's going to happen. But
usually, but you get more upset than I do. It's like, okay.
Usually we've been blessed enough that when we go, we get a bigger room that might even have 2 bathrooms, right?
Right. But that's the last time you and I traveled to New York was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
We have not been together to New York in 8 years.
Okay.
So I think the last time you were in New York, we were living there. That's why you thought it was bigger. It was the apartment we lived in.
At FS1, we went right out there for an MMA.
Yeah, I don't remember where we stayed.
We did.
The Omni or somewhere. I don't remember where they put us up.
It was more like a boutique hotel. Right?
I don't remember.
But the point was, we're in this tiny little room.
We're in a smaller room, and it's the two of us.
And she's got a suitcase that is bigger than the room.
Right, of course.
And when you open it and try to unload it, there's nowhere to unload.
Well, but I took all the things out, and then I closed it, and I put it on the side. I always do that. I don't have anywhere to put my stuff, and the bathroom was even smaller, and there was no counter there's no
space.
vanity place.
There's nowhere in the bathroom. Right. It's a tiny sink, and there's nowhere on the side to stack your stuff.
Right. But
except
I did
maybe
put
on the top of the toilet. Right.
So you put your DOP kit there, and then I put my stuff. I didn't lay it out. I kept it on the side.
You did.
And I even put my makeup on in a powder compact mirror. That's how I put my makeup on for the 2 days.
Okay.
Did I complain? No.
Okay.
Because I'm in New York and I'm at a beautiful hotel, and it is
falling all over each other.
Well,
and then obviously you have bathroom issues because if you need to use the bathroom, then
what can you do?
And your friend Francesca bought us some things for the room, which was very sweet of her to do.
She always asked me what to get, and she gave us
without
everything.
even asking, she bought an air freshener for the bathroom.
No, I asked her to do that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I did. Okay. I've been with you long enough to know things.
Give you that one.
Yes.
Okay. So now I spray that after I use the bathroom.
Right, and then you wonder why I'm sneezing.
And now she's gagging and coughing. She says it's because the what's it called? The
air deodorizer.
Okay.
Well, I'm sneezing nonstop, but what can you do?
Okay.
But I didn't complain. I'm in New York. I'm on Madison Avenue. I'm at a beautiful hotel, and I'm happy, except for you. You're miserable.
Okay.
But as long as you can watch the Masters, you're okay.
The Masters was coming on
Thursday.
Wednesday was the par 3 tournament, so I did want to watch that. But I'm geared up for my speaking engagement on Wednesday night.
Right.
But we wind up going to a little diner that you love, which is like the all-time greatest diner in the history of the world. It's called Three Guys on Madison.
Right across on Madison and 75th and 6th.
Between
it's 4th and 5th.
Okay, 4th and 5th?
Yeah, because you're going down.
No, But it's on 76, so you just turn left. So it's between 75th and 76th.
Yeah.
And it's just right there. And we go
Best
in.
food in the world.
And on the first night, she sees Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin was there.
Only
and I love
Murders
Murders in the
Building,
Building, but I love him from way back.
Yeah, but he's Mr. New York.
It was in the morning. We were having breakfast.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we went before.
Yeah. We went the night before. We had dinner there.
Yeah.
Then in the morning, we had breakfast early.
This is
like 8:30 in the morning.
This is like what you call a 3-star diner on appearance, and you go in and it's 5-star. Your food is 5-star.
I mean,
LA doesn't have food like this.
No, they don't even have diners like this. This is a regular New York diner.
And people say, can you eat on the road? You can eat there because they get it. They'll do exactly what you want.
And they serve your food in less than a minute.
Like in a minute. And the waiters are so sharp and savvy. They're like, go.
I say I want the eggs, no butter, no oil. Yeah. I want them really well done.
They don't even write it down, and they nail it every time.
And they bring it, and it's perfect.
And they'll bring if you soup or any appetizer, you're going to get it in like 1 minute. You're going to get your main course in 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's going to be perfect.
And it's very nice. You're not sitting on top of other people. And then Steve Martin walked in with his wife, and he sat 2 booths away from us.
Yeah.
It was like
3 guys.
I was in heaven.
Yeah. One of our friends asked us, where are you going out to eat? And we're like, we go to 3 guys. And he's saying, well, what are you doing? Because if he came to L.A., he's come to L.A. and we take him out to Mastro's or wherever. We went to Mastro's.
To me, I'd rather eat in a diner. I loved everything from, I had the eggs that were really well done. I like them burned beyond.
Yeah.
They burned my eggs. I had that wrap was delicious. I had it 2 days in a row. And the soup was delicious.
I got a piece of salmon cooked dry.
That looked
and it was
amazing.
Huge. It was like
that could
twice
feed 2
the size.
people. Yeah, that was enough.
It was like the whole salmon.
Right.
And then I got a giant scoop of brown rice.
Yeah.
It was just perfect.
So good.
And I got steamed broccoli that was just
perfect. And the bagels were great. The bagels.
It's the best. I could eat there twice a day, every day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. So then it's a neighborhood place.
Then for the speaking engagement, which I will tell you about a little later as it transpires.
In the big reveal.
But the point is that we had to go way deep into Brooklyn Bushwick, Brooklyn. And it was just hard to get there because there's no thoroughfare. There's no freeway to it. You go over the Brooklyn Bridge, and then all of a sudden it's left, right, left, right, and you're getting car sick, and you're like, God, is this ever going to end? And it took over an hour to get there, a little less coming back because the driver was like Richard Petty of Uber type drivers, right?
Yeah,
and yet the engagement that I did was
great.
It was special. It worked.
It was great, and
it wore me out. But we had to come right back, because Luca was going to play Adele. Right. So this is where her life collides with mine, because I'm going to watch this game because it's going to be on ESPN, and I'm going to post a video about said game. Right. But now I didn't have any equipment, so we're just in the tiny little hotel room, so she had to shoot the video. And she has a great steady cam hand.
Right, but holding it after like 3, 4, 5 minutes, my arm is getting tired.
15, 14 minutes.
Right, and then I had to switch arms and make sure I wasn't doing
But you could have juggled.
But whatever.
Okay, and then I told her, I'm going to talk some to you, and you can talk back, and it'll be on the video, which is fine. Whatever. And she didn't really get that, but she goes through this.
Right.
And then it's time to wind down. Well, we don't have Apple Plus TV.
Then you had to work out.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I had to go work out. I did that before the game, though.
Right. And that was when I took the opportunity to escape. And I walked to my favorite store in the world, which is Bloomingdale's on 59th Street. And I walked around.
And she is a solitary walker. She sort of grew up walking in the city.
Yeah, it's my life. It's so to me, I went to the magazine stand. They remembered me. I walked over to Bloomingdale's. I walked around. I looked in the shoe department. I didn't buy anything, but I just walked, and I felt like I was part of the world again. I felt like I was part of the world.
Well, you walk here in L.A., but you don't feel the same.
It's not the same way. Plus, Bloomingdale's, there's a Bloomingdale's here. It doesn't compare to a Bloomingdale's in New York City.
Hazel is rapt.
Yeah, she knows, because she says, I want to go to that Bloomingdale's. That Bloomingdale's is like the epitome of a store. Just to go walk around, you don't have to buy anything, but the energy in there is just the best.
So it's time to wind down. By the way, I did go by myself to work
Yeah,
out.
you
And
worked
nobody was in there.
No.
And it was one of the best workouts I've ever
Right,
had.
see?
I got going. I was
Right.
energized from the speaking engagement. That's what I did. I did my cardio in the morning, and on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Right,
I
you
lift
did your
weights at
workout.
night. And I really had fun doing that.
I normally do that too, but
do.
I opted to go to Bloomingdale's
You
and
did.
walk
Good for
50
you.
blocks.
Okay, so now we're winding down, and this always happens to us on the road because we don't have access to Amazon Prime or Netflix.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're just flipping around on TV
They
trying
did
to
have
watch.
a lot of movies in the hotel.
They had some, but this is like a 20-minute wind
Yeah.
down, and we got to go to sleep.
Right.
And we start watching Family Guy, which we used to watch once upon a time,
Family
but
Guy.
we're watching episodes that are like, could they be
2000 or something.
20 years old?
Yeah, they
And they're still funny.
They're funny.
And
Stewie
we
is my
watched some
favorite.
Seinfeld, which I rarely ever watched.
I used to watch, but haven't watched in a long time.
And we got into
Oh, that
a
was
couple-
funny. It was
They had
funny.
one episode. We saw one episode from
1996, wasn't it?
Six?
Yeah, I think it was 6.
and it was about masturbation. And we were like, what? How did they get away
So
with this?
funny.
They didn't say masturbation, but they
No.
said, are you still, they had a contest about
Still the
who
king of
won't.
the castle.
Yeah, are you still the master of your domain? Are
Yeah.
you still the queen of your castle?
Right. It
For
was
what's her
funny
name? Yeah.
for Elaine
Elaine.
with John Jeff with John F. Kennedy Jr.
Okay, it was
God
so long
rest his
ago.
soul.
They're talking about John F. Kennedy
Yeah.
Jr. He's not actually in it, but she's got the hots for
Yeah.
him from the health club,
Yeah.
and
And he
then,
wants to meet her at 9:00 at night.
yeah, and she is going to go down and meet him. But there's this woman across the street who, okay, I don't know if it must be across the street.
like across the courtyard.
Courtyard.
He sees her.
in their
she walks around
apartment.
nude in the
And
apartment.
so they're all
They-
watching, but they're having a hard time
Right.
not doing
Yeah,
that
right.
because they're watching the woman. It
Right.
was very well done and very funny.
Oh, it was funny.
And-
I'm sure people know it because everybody watched Seinfeld.
Ultimately pretty tasteful, and it worked.
It was funny.
Okay.
We had a
Hey,
good time. Yeah, it was funny.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
after that, we watched.
Then we started watching The
The
Office,
Office.
which I have never watched.
I only watched
and,
once or twice. My sister loves that
and it was
show.
funny. And we're watching one that's from ancient times, right?
Steve Carell was so good.
Yeah.
The whole cast. John
Kaczynski was
Kaczynski and
And I
my
finally,
God.
somebody referred to on the show
Yeah.
that look where he looks
Yeah.
at the camera, where he's constantly going,
right.
Yeah,
And so
told
that
you so.
was what you were
so
like.
they're
yeah.
constantly playing to the camera or talking, breaking the third wall
know.
and talking to the audience.
It's like we discovered something that has
yeah,
been
and
around.
people are laughing at us right now. You don't
you never
even
saw
know
that.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. But
Anyway, so that was fun.
then I get stuck on the cardio equipment, and it's no good. It's not what we have here in
Right,
LA,
right.
and yet you had a great sighting because Colin Jost,
Colin
I think he
Jost walked
lives
in.
there.
Yeah.
I think he.
It was
with-
great with
what's her
Scarlett
name?
Johansson.
Scarlett, yeah.
And I was leaving the gym, and he opened the door right on me, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then I looked, and it was him. His
Yeah.
baseball cap on. So it was 2 good sightings: Steve Martin and Colin.
Yeah. And then on Thursday, I actually took a day off, and we saw 3 friends, 2 of hers, 1 of ours.
Yeah,
And it was really good.
we had fun. Yeah,
We had fun, and it all worked. Sometimes those things just click,
right.
and it was really good to see
It was cold.
our doctor, your dermatologist best friend,
We only,
and an
yeah.
orthopedic
All of our
surgeon
friends
who's
are
a friend of
doctors.
ours. Yeah, they're all we saw 3 doctors in one day, but we didn't even
We
go
didn't
to the
need
doctor.
any
Yeah.
medicating.
Okay. And then we got up at 3 a.m. again to go to the
Come back.
bad cardio equipment to do an hour.
Right. We did a
before we
workout at
go
3 a.m. on
to
Friday morning.
JFK. We did. And yet we got back by about 10:30 in the
10:30.
morning.
It was a good
And
flight.
It was a good flight. And it's always after you're gone from her. But remember, in her lifetime, Hazel's lifetime, I don't think we've taken any together
We've
vacations.
never been- no.
We went to Palm Springs a couple of times when she was young, but we took her. So she's never been here without both of
Right.
us for 3 days.
Right.
And so
My sister stayed over.
her sister stayed. We have a housekeeper who watched
Came,
over.
yeah, during
and,
the day.
And who sort of bonded with her a little bit.
Yeah.
So she had some company. But here's the point. When we walked in the door, I told you so on this. Who did she miss the most? Who did she go to first?
I think it was even.
She went to you. She
no,
went to
you
her.
walked in before me, and then she was
Yeah.
going nutty, 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 nutty. And then I walked in, and she came over to me.
But
I
she
think
stayed with you.
Yeah, but I
Because she
think
missed her mom. She
Yeah.
missed her mom the most. And her mom was the one because you feed her and
Oh, yeah.
she sleeps beside
Well, I
you.
talked to
and-
her like
yeah.
she's,
Yeah, I know.
you know, a little baby.
I don't talk to her like she's a little baby.
No, you talk to her like she's an athlete.
That's true.
She's Hazel, the NBA player.
She's very happy, right? She's been the happiest she's ever been for the last 3 days.
They're back. I might as well not do anything bad because they'll go away again.
So the bottom line is, and this could be an all-time clash to the point of a marriage ender.
Oh God,
I'm just not sure I could ever live in New York again. And
that's
you
not
miss
a surprise.
It so badly.
That's not a surprise.
You're going to go back pretty soon.
I am. I'm going to go back, but I got to go get my ID.
I know
That ID. Everybody. I don't know if these people know. I'm sure everybody does in every state. They have to get that ID.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't fly.
That's true. Okay, let's take our first question. We do appreciate your questions. They are the lifeblood of the show, always provocative and entertaining.
Yes.
This one's from Chuck from Pierre, South Dakota. We get them from all over the world, every state.
I've never been to South Dakota.
Ernestine, on last week's episode, you said that living with someone is the hardest thing. Shouldn't it be one of the easiest, since you're most likely living with a partner that you love more than anyone else?
I don't know if he's ever lived with anybody, but I think it's the hardest thing. I think living with anybody. I lived with my sister and shared an apartment with my sister out on Long Island.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing in the world. Even though I'm very close with her, she'd leave the dishes in the sink, and I say to her, Joyce, why are you leaving the dishes in the sink? I'll do them later. And I said, well, I can't leave the dishes. I'll do them. So if you take that and you magnify it with someone that you're married to and have a different relationship with, it's very hard. Even in that hotel room, I said to you, this is a true test of living with somebody, because I had friends when I worked in New York. They got married and lived in a studio apartment, which a lot of people do with their husband, and then they have a baby and they're in a studio apartment.
But a studio apartment, which you had when I first met you in New York in 2005.
I always had a studio apartment,
It was much bigger than the hotel room that we managed to survive at the Carlyle.
That's
much
true.
Bigger.
But living with somebody, you end up having to compromise, which that's what my book was about, Balls. Mm-hmm. It's about compromising in a relationship. You have to compromise if you want to actually make it living with someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you love them or not.
No,
but
it's great to have the company, but in the end, you need some alone time.
You need space.
She definitely needs her space. I need some of mine.
Yeah.
And you have to carve it out and draw imaginary boundaries that you're going to respect that, I'm going to respect that, where you have your time alone.
Yeah.
And then there's times when you're together.
Plus, it's just the fact of all of those things that you think are cute, somebody does, then when you live with them, after a while, they're not as cute as you thought because you're not living with them. And the way somebody, they take their clothes and they throw it on the floor as opposed to putting it in the laundry, or they leave the soda bottle out instead of putting it in the garbage.
Me.
Right. I'm not saying names, but these are the things
there's
that.
Only one name.
Right. She doesn't do it, but these are the things you have to put up with. And you put up with me being very anal about things, very anal and cleaning. And I
walk
take
in the door,
alcohol.
Shoes have to come off.
Yeah, shoes have to come off. You have to wash your hands with Purell.
Then,
even Tyler has to wash his hands with Purell, whoever comes in from outside.
When I walk in, clothes, if I've been out anywhere, like at a doctor's office or whatever.
Yeah, because you're sitting on a dirty...
Even if I go to church, I have to disrobe. Like every stitch has to come off.
Well, you're sitting on a dirty... you go to a doctor's office, you're sitting on a dirty chair that somebody else sat on. She knows. She understands. And then you're going to sit down on the couch and you got dirty clothes on. So who wants to do that? So...
It is hard. It is great, but it is hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
And it won't work unless you love each other
you gotta
unconditionally.
Bite your lip a lot.
Yeah, you just have to bite your lip, and I don't know how many times I don't know where you are. One time last week you were in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And I walked around the corner and you jump out and just scare the hell out of me. Well, it's like, what are you doing?
I was getting the laundry or something, and I had the door shut.
I know. What?
But there are times where, it's just just regular things, even going to watch TV in the living room. You have to decide on what you're going to watch together.
Yeah.
Right?
If she's in her office, I knock on the door. If I'm in my office, she kind of knocks.
I knock on the door a lot. Yeah.
Speaking of clashes, so we're sitting at Three Guys Restaurant, 76th and Madison. the other night with your longtime best friend, Francesca,
Right.
from New York City. And we're talking about various life issues back and forth. And we get into, I think you started it, but you brought up the fact that I'm so pessimistic. I'm too negative that I just wear you out with my negativity.
That's true. You
Is
are a
it?
very negative person.
And I don't think
Since-
I'm negative at all. I just think
You
that,
don't think he's negative.
okay, she wants me to constantly say, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to work.
Yeah.
I do believe in jinxes. And
Well, that's been a big issue
Okay.
since the
All
day
right.
I met you because
okay,
you live in
just
the
don't
sports
jinx
world of
it.
jinxes.
You can sort of mentally hope that it works out. But you've asked me before, could you pray for that? Could you pray for that to come through?
No,
And-
I don't
and-
think. No,
okay.
wait. Hold the
Okay.
hold the
All
phones
right,
here.
all right.
The praying thing is not the same thing as you have to be positive in life. You and I look at the glass that's filled with water. I see it half full. You see it half empty.
I hope it's half full.
That's been the whole basis of our relationship. You look at things as very negative. I find positivity in almost every single thing in my day. I try to spin it as much as I can, even if I'm having a really bad day and things are not going for me. I always am hopeful and I always bounce back. It's like I always bounce back. No matter how bad things are, I bounce back because you have to believe that something positive and good will come out of something. You like to see something bad, nothing good, and then you hope for somewhere inside, maybe it'll change. But until then, you want to think it's going to be bad.
Okay. Have I not had a pretty great life?
But you've been lucky. Not everybody
been.
is as lucky.
I agree. So all the quote unquote lucky things that
Yeah.
have happened to me,
Yeah.
I didn't wish for. I didn't think about. They just happened because I think they came from God. That's
Okay.
just the way I
But
look at it.
That's a
okay?
good thing. But those
All right?
are great.
Like I won a scholarship my senior year of high school that is not chosen until May. So you have to wait deep into
Right.
the year at Vanderbilt, a full scholarship for sports writing called the
Mm-hmm.
Grantland Rice Scholarship. I'd forgotten about it. I literally not in my
Right.
conscious or even subconscious.
Right.
I just wrote it off. I had to apply to Vanderbilt and get accepted, and I did. But I was going to the University of Oklahoma like
Yeah.
everybody else I
Yeah.
knew. I don't know what I was going to do. I think I was going to go into journalism, but I didn't have much of a plan. And I just zoned it out until I walked in one night on May the 7th from baseball practice, and my mother, who worked at our little hole-in-the-wall barbecue restaurant, had left me my barbecue dinner
Right.
and a note on the kitchen table that said, somebody called from area code 615. And as soon as I saw 615, I knew that was Nashville,
Yeah.
Tennessee. I knew, boom, I won the scholarship.
Right.
I just knew because they're not going to call
But
you to
that's
say
luck.
you didn't. Okay.
That's fate
it's
and luck.
blessed. It's blessed. Okay.
Fate and
Okay.
luck.
But I didn't wish it. I didn't pray for it.
But
Because
being,
I always tell you, you can't pray for those things. You just pray that the right thing will happen.
but being positive isn't wishing. Being positive is putting out, I have a sweatshirt that says only good vibes. It's you only want to put out good vibes because when you put out bad vibes, you don't want to be around. I personally do not want to be around negative people. Like if I'm around a friend and all they keep saying is, that's never going to happen to me. That'll never happen. I don't want to be around them because
I know,
I
but
don't,
I think
that's
of
not
all
how I
the-
live my life.
all the great jobs I got, I wasn't really expecting. I was hoping, but I didn't like try to manifest it by
No.
gushing about it. Like it has to happen. It has to happen. It has to happen.
Right.
It happened because it was right.
Yes, it's
Okay.
meant to be. But the thing is,
But I'm not.
but positivity is not that.
okay,
You're
I'm not
confusing
negative.
positivity.
You're
are negative. Negative.
not defining my negativity correctly because my negativity is don't jinx. Just leave it alone.
But that's
just
not.
leave it alone.
But you have to be positive. It's a gorgeous day outside, isn't it? Gorgeous, beautiful day. I'll say to you. I don't know. I just drove in. I wasn't really thinking about outside.
Okay, well, that's just a
That-
true answer.
But that's
okay?
like a
But
positive
if
thing
we're
is
walking on Saturday outside and you say it's a beautiful, I say it doesn't get better. than
right. Okay,
this."
but okay, positive and negative. I'll say to you, God, maybe it's going to happen like this. That'd be so great. Well, I don't know. Just wait and see, okay?
Well,
but
that's
you
what
have
we
to
do.
be positive and say, oh wow, maybe it will happen, and maybe that'll take place, and this will be. And even if it doesn't, at least you tried to hope, and positivity is playing into it, as opposed to negativity is being a Debbie Downer. Womp womp. I don't like that. I don't think so. That'll never happen. Where does it get you?
All right, speaking of movies or series, it's time for Skip and Ernestine go to the movies while on the couch, because we don't usually go. Last Friday night, we watched Viola Davis play the President of the United States. Maybe my friend Stephen A. will be President of the United States one day, but Viola was in this movie, and she has to, in this movie, go Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
She was
right?
great. She was great.
Did I say the name of it? I can't remember. Did I say
wasn't it?
Oh, G20.
G20.
Yeah, G20. Okay. So you would give...
I'd give it a 9 out of a 10.
9 out of a 10?
Yeah, I think it was great.
Okay.
She was great.
She was very good. We had just seen her in New York. We were getting dressed one morning, and she was on
Kelly Clarkson,
right, with her husband.
Yeah.
And she was talking about she's a woman of some age. I don't know, what is she, 57?
57? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And,
she's kick-ass, man. She is really...
And she said, I wanted to demonstrate on film that I can still do that and that and that.
She did.
And she's not explosively athletic, but she is convincing that she can do this. Yeah. And there's a jujitsu sort of scene at the first that sets the table where she's practicing, she's training with a guy. And then you can say, oh, okay, she can do that.
Yeah.
And
she really showed it. She brought her stuff.
Okay, they did flat out steal Die Hard. I mean, but who hasn't? It's like
the next night we watched another. I didn't want to see we turned it off. It was another knockoff.
Cleaner.
Of Die Hard.
It was called Cleaner.
Yeah,
we didn't watch it, but it looks like it's the same thing.
It's another
maybe
Die
even closer
Hard.
to Die Hard, because she's actually a window cleaner who sees in a tower the terrorists are happening, and she is going to save the day like Bruce Willis. So this happens at kind of a resort. So it's Nakatomi Plaza. And I do recommend G20 because
you have to see it. It's so good.
My rule of thumb or wrist is, did I ever look at my watch one time? And I never did, because it had me and it kept me. And she takes it over because she is a highly accomplished
she's such a great actress.
Actress.
She's so good.
And yet she's trying something that's a
out
complete departure from who she's always played. Yeah. And she pulls it off. And the reason the movie works is that she commands every scene. And so you're with her and you believe in her, you buy her, and you root for her.
Yeah, she's just
and her family. Anthony Anderson plays her sort of wimpy husband.
Yeah, he was okay.
He was okay, and the kids are okay.
I think her husband would have been better playing her husband.
Maybe her husband should have played her husband.
Because he's really a good actor, too.
Cool. Yeah. So, in the end, at the very end, there are a couple of scenes where she's shooting bad guys who just run up on her with machine guns, and she shoots like 6 in a row. I'm not giving it away. You'll see it if you see it. And nobody gets off a shot with a machine gun, and she nails all 6 of them in a row.
Well, she is Viola Davis.
She's Viola Davis. And it's like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
He
Dirty Harry.
He never gets hit.
No.
Like in the Westerns or the Dirty Harrys.
Yeah.
People are spraying bullets all around him, and he never gets hit. And she never got hit.
I feel good with her in case of anything.
Okay, so
she could take care.
I would give it, like if I was doing a letter grade, I would give it a real solid B, because it's just a pretty simple action movie.
I'd give it an A-.
But it works.
Yeah, I think it just
good. Works.
I think it's worth the time.
8 out of 10.
It's a good popcorn movie.
It's a good watch, and I'm impressed.
Guys and girls would like it, to me.
I admire her even more for trying it and pulling it off.
She really
even though
did.
You can argue she's a Broadway actress. Like
she's done everything.
Like you can argue that this is beneath her dignity. I mean, some people just do it for the check, but I think she did it just to say, hey, watch what 57-year-old can do.
But I saw this morning, I was watching CBS Sunday Morning. They had an interview with Rami Malek.
Yeah.
And he said
he's
in that new movie, The Amateur, which I want to see. And he said that after he did Bohemian Rhapsody and he played
Freddie Mercury.
He won the Oscar. He said when his agent called him and said, "Hey, what's the next project you want to do?" He said, "I want to play in a Die Hard type movie. I want to play.
Okay.
That's the type of movie I want to do."
He was a Bond villain.
Yeah, and so that in this movie, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. This is James from Spokane, Washington. Skip.
I like Washington.
While Ernestine certainly is a sports fan,
Kind of.
she,
Forced.
understandably, is not a crazy sports nut like you. Why do you feel the need to always ask her to talk to her about sports? Aren't you ignoring what she wants, which is not to hear about sports?
I signed on.
Okay. Look, talk about living with somebody.
I signed on.
Okay, so on my show this week, I talked about a game that I picked for FanDuel, and it was just the damnedest thing. It was a miraculous rally where I was dead in the water because I had Denver at home against Memphis, and Denver.
Oh, please, do I have to hear this again? I know the whole pick thing.
6.5.
I know.
Okay.
Don't please save me.
I didn't force this on you, but my team that I quote unquote bet on went on a 14-1 run to end the game and barely covered the spread.
Right.
And watching it was exhilarating.
No, I know the whole thing.
Okay.
So get to the question here.
Well, I'm telling you that I was compelled.
Relive the whole thing.
I know, but I was compelled at the end to just mention real quick, hey, I actually won this game with this miraculous rally. She's like, so?
I said, great.
What time are we going to eat? Okay.
But there's just so much a human. There's so much a human can take.
How many times do you come in and start
sports?
telling me a story? You won't believe I saw so-and-so at so-and-so, and the story goes on for like 18 straight minutes.
But you know it's going to end at some
You're
point.
You're a long storyteller.
Well,
I'm a short storyteller.
Oh, my God.
I'm short.
Tyler, let's play back some of his stories.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Talladega Nights scene with the cars flipping for the commercial over, and it's like 3 days now, and he's trying to still. Okay. I give it up that I knew what you did when I met you, but after a while, there's just so much a human can take when it's not their
thing,
work or interest. And I take a whole lot, and I know a whole lot about sports, and I can pick guys out of a lineup, and I know who they are: basketball, football, baseball, golf. I know all these people, right? Women's softball, Oklahoma City. She's got braids and she's got makeup on. I know the whole thing, the rationale of why you watch it and stuff. But there's just so much I can take. So I understand what he's saying.
Okay. I can't.
Thank
because
you.
It's just casual conversation. I don't force it on her.
Casual conversation about talking about the teams? I don't want to sit and talk about the teams. Sometimes I happen to walk into your office while you're watching a game, and I just want to ask you a quick question. Okay. And you go, hey, you got to watch this play. Did you see this guy? Watch what they're going to do. Wait, stay here. And I'm waiting. My food is boiling. I'm making a soup or something, and it's like, okay, now look what he did. Do you believe that? And then I don't want to be rude, but I go, my soup is boiling.
I know, but I'm human.
It's like you need somebody. That's why I thought you would be the perfect.
I don't
big
go
brother.
out with the guys.
No, but
I'm not a big texter
you need
during
to
games.
You would be a great big brother to some boy who's 16 years old that lives and breathes sports. You would be such a good guy for him. You should consider that. I've said that for years.
Okay. Next question. Thomas from Seattle, speaking of Washington.
Oh, I've been there tons of times.
So have I.
I represented Eddie Bauer, who is in Seattle.
They are.
And Starbucks. I worked for Starbucks.
Okay. I went there many times for Final Fours and NBA playoff games.
Okay.
And
who went more, you or me?
Football games.
Me.
Oh, I went way more.
I went more.
To Seattle. I went there 15 times.
I went
Seriously.
there 17 times.
Okay.
18 times.
All right. This is Thomas from Seattle. We all know Skip's sports takes. Thank you. But who is on Ernestine's Mount Rushmore of athletes?
Here we go.
And dare I ask, LeBron or MJ? Sorry if this is what causes the divorce.
Okay.
It could.
Okay.
All right. So who's on if you get four on Mount Rushmore?
Four, and they don't have to be in any type of, not the same sport or anything.
No.
Okay. My heart always belonged to Paul Pierce.
who, by the
I
way,
had-
is my guest on this week's Skip
Okay.
One-on-One, and he was
Now-
great.
And I love,
Yeah.
I used to love the Celtics, and I loved Paul, and we would always kid around, where's Paulie? Where's Paul? Paul. And Paul, the truth, to me, I loved him, and I had a big crush on him. So Paul would be on my Mount Rushmore. And then Mike Piazza,
Mike
because I was
Piazza?
friends with Mike Piazza,
great.
and he and I became friends when I worked for Ballet of Switzerland
For
a
those
million
who
years
don't know,
ago.
he played baseball.
He played baseball,
Mostly
but he
for
and
the
I
Mets.
were friends, and he thought of me as like his older sister, and we would go to lunch. And he,
So
after
this is a personal Mount
yeah, it's a
Rushmore.
Mount. It's but he was an amazing baseball player. You can't tell me he wasn't an amazing baseball
He was
player.
good.
And for right after 9/11, he was the guy that hit the home run that New York cheered for, because he brought us back from that horrible thing.
Even though you lost the World Series to the Yankees. But
Doesn't
go ahead.
matter. Mike Piazza is still Mike Piazza. So Mike
Okay.
Piazza would be up there. Joe Namath, because Joe Namath was Broadway Joe.
Well, I personally know Joe Namath.
I know.
I came very close to writing his autobiography for him,
Okay.
with him. And
He's iconic.
I wouldn't put him on my Mount Rushmore of
Well-
athletes, but maybe all time, just in aura
and just in who he
mystique
was.
and-
I mean, Joe Namath, I can visualize that picture of him in that fur coat. Okay.
Me too.
His hair long. He was one of the sexiest men ever. And he was just iconic. He was on every variety show. He became just a household name. So to
Yeah.
me, Joe Namath.
a lot of people think he is the most overrated Hall of Famer ever because he threw so many interceptions, but he was
He
just
could still.
Joe Namath.
He's still in my Hall of
And
Fame.
before his knees were wrecked, nobody could throw a sweeter pass than Broadway Joe.
Broadway Joe.
Back in the day, especially
Yeah.
back in the AFL days.
Yeah. So Broadway Joe
Yeah.
is going up
Okay,
there.
all right.
And my last pick is Michael Jordan.
Oh, thank you. Finally, you got one
I
right.
loved
Okay.
Air.
Okay, just
The
because you
movie
love
Air.
the movie Air.
And I
Matt
loved,
Damon?
yes,
Ben
but I
Affleck?
liked the story. I think it was an underrated
almost
movie. I
finished.
think that movie was really good. You liked the movie too.
I loved it. It
Yeah,
was
and I
very
think
good.
I don't think
Very
a lot
well
of
done.
people saw Air, but Michael Jordan
Oh, they
to me, and I love the poster, and I love, even though he's got a lot of stuff, whatever, off the court that you always say, but
Not
he's an
really.
icon, and he just is. He set the bar.
So you would agree it's Jordan over LeBron?
Oh, I do like LeBron. Listen, I am a LeBron fan, and I think he's a wonderful role model for kids, and he's done great things, and I really do like him. I don't know him personally. I would like to meet him. I once saw him walking on Central Park West, but I didn't stop him because I thought maybe he would hit me if he knew I was with you.
Maybe.
But I like LeBron. I think I love when he's the post game interviews.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
good.
that he's articulate and
Yeah.
he has a good heart. So I like LeBron.
He's a really nice guy. No killer instinct.
And
but that's
he has
okay.
a great clutch gene.
He has no clutch
Yes,
gene.
he does.
You don't
I'm
even know
sorry.
what clutch
I
gene
know what
is.
clutch gene
Well, you
is.
pick-
I have a clutch gene.
You do. I give you that.
So-
You picked the biggest clutch gene for your Mount Rushmore because
Yeah.
it belongs to Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
And then they're adding a side bar, and that's where LeBron is going to sit.
He'll be on
he's on the side
he'll be the
of
fifth wheel.
He's going to be the
Yeah.
new fifth Mount Rushmore.
Okay,
It's
you
true.
got away with that one.
It's
You
true.
covered your ass. Okay, next question. This is Paula from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh,
back
like
in my
Fort
old
Worth.
stomping
You're
grounds.
stomping grounds.
Do you internally shame people who don't eat as restrictive as you both do? That's an interesting question because are we sort of healthy eating snobs? Do we look down our noses at what people are eating around us?
I
Okay.
personally, can't speak for you. I do not care if I go out with friends and they are eating entire sides of beef, 14 cannolis, a half of a sheet cake. I
And
don't
a
care.
pile of French fries.
They could
or
eat whatever they
onion
want. They could
rings.
have grilled cheese, and the side is French fries, and on top of that is some butter cream soup. And I'm going to have my, whatever I'm going to have, a piece of fish dry. But I just don't like when people start, putting their insecurities on me and making me feel weird.
That's
They
true.
always do that to me. Oh, when the waiter will come over. Do you want dessert? I don't eat dessert. Oh, she's going to eat dessert. Oh, she doesn't eat dessert. But I say to them, why do you care what I eat? You can eat whatever you want. I don't care.
She
I
will
don't
say
care.
that to friends of hers. Like if they say, oh, come on,
I've had people,
live a little.
Wait, I love the ones that say to me, so do you want to go for dinner? And I go, yeah, sure. Are you going to eat more than a lettuce leaf? And I go to them,
Don't do that to
when
her.
do I ever eat a lettuce leaf? So because I'm not sitting there eating what they're eating, and then they feel guilty because of what they're eating, and they make me feel as though I should feel guilty what I'm eating, but they're the ones that are the guilty ones.
Okay.
So I don't care what anybody eats. Just don't lay this blame on me.
Maybe me more than you. I sometimes look sideways at another table and think, I'm just thinking, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, because I'm not shaming them. I'm pitying them.
Well,
I feel
I
for
think
them.
that too. When somebody's eating so much stuff that's bad, I think about, I'm always afraid to go to the doctor and have my cholesterol checked, which I just had my cholesterol checked and it was perfect. But I don't know how they don't have any conscience and say, maybe I shouldn't eat that because my cholesterol can go up. But people don't care, which is fine. Don't care.
Because
I
when I see
care.
the giant meal, especially French fries, as you say, the New York way from Evelyn is French fries. You emphasize the
French
second
fries.
French fries on French fries, but
whatever.
That's
They're all
Oklahoma
the
versus
same
New
in the
York.
end.
But they're so high in everything that's wrong.
And I love French fries.
And potatoes are great. They make your joints ache more. Tomatoes and potatoes.
I had a baked potato last night. I actually had a sweet potato last night.
But you can ruin a potato if you fry it, and it's got so much fried on it. And if you eat a whole pile, it's just killing you. It's taking days off your life.
But I do love a French fry, and I haven't had them in a long time. But when I ate French fries, my favorite was White Castle. They had the best fries.
Okay.
And McDonald's have the best fries.
They did back in the day.
They had the greatest. Yeah. White Castle, though, they came in that little, and the hamburgers, when I ate meat, I don't eat meat anymore, but that was those sack of burgers. Did you ever have White Castle?
Yeah. Except they were called Crystal in Nashville.
Really?
Crystal Burgers.
Oh, same company?
Crystal?
I didn't know that.
We used to call it Greastal.
Yeah, they were good.
Like sheet burgers, like cooked in a sheet? Are you talking about?
They make them little, they're like sliders. They're actually sliders.
Aren't they giant squares of burgers?
They're small squares. They're what sliders are. Before people knew what sliders were, that's what White Castle was making.
Back
on Fordham Road in the Bronx. Okay. The best.
But I'm with you. I always tell friends, I don't care what you eat. I truly don't. Like, just do it.
Right.
Like, just whatever you want.
We go out with people and they order giant steaks
happy.
and French fries, and we don't care. But
we don't drink alcohol.
Me.
But if you want to drink alcohol, just drink it, because we don't care.
I don't care. If you want to sit there and have a whole bottle of wine, I'll have my hot water with lemon. I don't care. But why do you mock me?
Okay.
It's insecurity on their part to throw it back to you.
Okay. This is a comment from YouTube at Michael E5, N as in Nancy. How do y'all remain healthy while eating out often? I find that difficult in a smaller city. Well, again, we don't eat out that often.
We don't eat out that much.
But you just got to fight with these people, which is why we were so good at Three Guys at 76 in Madison in New York City. They get it. And you don't have to arm wrestle with the waiter to get it right. They're like, yeah, because the clientele is enlightened and they've had to change with the times.
You don't even have to order on the menu. You order.
You can just tell them what you want and exactly how you want it cooked. And if you want a piece of salmon cooked with no oil and no butter, just tell them. They'll do it dry. And they'll do it with
I've done that here.
spray.
I've done that here in LA. And I say, can I have the salmon with no butter, no oil, just dry? And you get it back and it's floating in oil.
They just don't even know.
So now the only way that I know how to do it is I tell the waiter I'm allergic to butter and oil. And then they're afraid because you'll sue the restaurant.
Okay. So we do have a deli we go to here that's famous in Beverly Hills called Nate and Al's. And is it quite on the level of Three Guys?
No.
Not quite, but they are pretty enlightened.
They're okay.
And they'll do mostly what you want.
Not as good.
But you can eat really a bunch of crap.
It's a deli.
Too. Yeah.
But I don't care. I do it more than you. You give it up sometimes. But when I go to a restaurant, I will tell them, I don't want this, I don't want that. And you get annoyed. You go, I know what it's like. My parents owned a restaurant. My brother is a famous chef. You can't do that to them. I'm not going to eat what somebody wants me to eat.
Like we went to another deli with her doctor friend.
Yeah. for lunch
on the other side of town, not that far away, but we went for lunch. And so the restaurant is jam-packed and we're wedged into seats and it's not that comfortable. You can hear what people at every table around you are talking about. And I ordered an egg white omelet with turkey and broccoli.
Right.
And I asked them to do it dry, and I don't think they did it dry because they're not enlightened. And it came back with egg yolks.
You were eating. I know. I looked over at your dish and it was yellow. Okay. I would have sent that back.
Okay, but we're in kind of a hurry because we got to stay on schedule, and she's got to get back to see her next patient. And I'm just computing all this in my head, and it's so packed, and we're going to have a hard time getting the waiter who's completely overwhelmed. And the prospect of starting the order over and getting it back on time. No, because every once in a while, my doctor tells me I need a little bit of because I need good cholesterol because I don't get that much good cholesterol because you need the balance.
Right.
And so I thought, okay, one shot. It's just they're not going to make you fat.
No,
they're just if you eat egg whites.
It's bad for your
if you
cholesterol.
do the yolks every day, that's no good.
Bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, this is another. Whoops. Speaking of Hazel, another. She's okay. Another YouTube comment to end this show. This is from, fittingly, at James Lifts. Lifts. Lifts.
All right, Hazel.
Only man who thinks an 8-pound Maltese is strong is Skip Bayless.
Sorry, you haven't dealt with Hazel. Hazel is a strong
James.
woman.
I know you're James Lifts, so apparently
he lifts.
You lift. So do I. In fact, I think right now we're showing a selfie that I took in the gym at the Carlyle last Wednesday evening of me lifting. I look pretty good.
Yeah, you look good.
I'm pretty ripped for my sort of stage and age. I'm pretty ripped.
Right.
And I go hard at my weightlifting. So I'm not weak. And she is hellacious strong.
I can't hold her.
I know right now she's like a little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Right now she's Dr. Jekyll.
You cannot hold her when we're walking in the complex or anywhere.
James, this is from Skip Lifts. Trust me on this. When she decides to go, when she goes into attack mode, it happens so fast. She is a biter, and she's a quick biter. She has strong. The quickest whip of a mouth. She will lay teeth on you in a split second.
Yeah, but beyond the teeth,
wiry strong.
Her muscles, I cannot contain her when I'm walking.
Right now, she's completely docile.
Now she looks like a limp little puppy.
Yeah, but she's, like you always say, she's a bag of bones.
Yeah.
Listen.
We have to hold her.
Hey, it takes all my strength in an instant to pull back and keep control of her, because if we're out somewhere, like we walk her at this mall where everybody walks their dogs. Or even in the complex. Yeah, if all
there's
of a
another
sudden,
dog or a person and she doesn't
if I
like
don't
them,
see and I'm not ready and I don't have a hold of her, she is bat out of hell.
He has to cover her eyes like she has blinders on and
so
hold her so she can't see the person
walking by. Because she's going to go tear the German Shepherd apart, and she believes with every ounce of this little body, she's about 10-ish pounds, that she can rip to shreds any Siberian Husky we see. Yeah. The biggest dogs, Great Danes, she's going to go because she's Hazel and they're not. And so I'm just telling you, I'm warning you, don't come within range of her teeth, or she will get you. Like right now, she can be the sweetest Maltese, the size of Maltese. She can also be the fiercest Maltese because she has a screw loose, and she is.
But we love her.
And well, this is what I love about her, because you say I raised her as a boy, and I guess I did, because she hikes her leg to pee like a boy.
Please.
But she likes to play fight, and she likes to play chase.
She's very strong.
Yeah. And she's quick.
She's got
and
muscles
powerful.
that are just so hard.
And maybe I'm being a doting dad here, but she is extremely athletic and quick.
She's like a thoroughbred racehorse.
She has thoroughbred in her.
She can run.
If you could see her run, she
runs so fast her hair gets slicked back, and she's running back and forth.
And she's a very graceful leaper.
Yeah, she's a good leaper.
She's a good leaper. She belongs on your Mount Rushmore.
She's on my Mount Rushmore on the other side of LeBron.
Okay, James lifts. That's it for round 20. We made it.
We
We're
did
still
20.
out.
Oof.
We will see you next week if we're still speaking.
Peace.